ever feel like you take on the energies of other people, or you feel like you're really in tune with your body, the environment, everybody around you, kind of the environments that you're in? You feel like a bit of a vibration of like you're feeling something that you can't quite explain. Okay. So why am I vegan? I've had to answer this question a lot. When I worked a traditional job, I worked in restaurants for 26 years. The last couple of years of me working in restaurants, I got this question asked a lot, especially when I was eating, because I would bring a lot, like bring my lunches to work, right? So my answer is quite scripted now. So I feel like I have had to answer it so many times that I want to explain in this video why I'm vegan. Now, if you're interested in becoming vegan and understanding it better and why people go vegan and understanding maybe why we eat so much meat and dairy. Now, when I first started this journey, oh my gosh, it was probably about 8 years ago. I started vegetarian first. I could not just go right to vegan. I think that that is like a setup for failure. And I don't say that lightly because we are conditioned to eat meat and dairy as like little children, depending on how you're raised, right? I was raised in Manitoba and it's heavily meat and dairy. I know a lot of people that were vegetarians from birth, like their parents just raised them that way not to eat meat. I was living in British Columbia for a while, so I ran into a lot of people that were raised, vegetarian or not necessarily full vegan. So full vegan is considered radical. I guess I've been radical for the last 4 or 5 years now. I think I'm going on 5 years. I think it was 2021 when I went full vegan. I was still struggling with cheese for a while. I think cheese is one of the hardest things to give up. It is we become addicted to like a chemical that's in there, and it's like the same chemical that the baby cow wants, like, and craves. Anyways, so the reason I'm vegan, it's all started with my rescue dogs. I was looking at my first rescue dog, Callie. I got her from California back in 2017. And I was wondering, like, why am I not eating her? Like, why am I eating animals? And like, I don't eat her. She looks like a little piglet. She's super cute. Put a little photo up of her here. She's so adorable. And I was just wondering why, Like, why do we eat, say, pigs and cows and not dogs and chicken? And I started questioning and I started to do a little more research on like animal protein and why, like, and then I started getting into the horrors of factory farming. And that is why I decided to go first vegetarian, then vegan. I was vegetarian for probably about 2 or 3 years. I went pretty full on with just no meat. I was still eating dairy and fish for quite a few years, 2 or 3 years. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you something where this is my opinion. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not registered nurse. I'm not any of that. Okay. This is my opinion, and this is what has worked for me. And I do feel amazing health benefits because of it. I lost weight. My skin feels better. I feel like I look better. My energy levels, my life it just got better. And that's okay. Like, this is how we're supposed to be living life. And that's just kind of why I want to express how I got where I got. And it wasn't easy. this was, there was a lot of conditioning to break, a lot of patterns and thinking a certain way that, like, oh my gosh, okay, funny story. My girlfriend was like, "You're vegetarian?" And then when I went vegan, "What? Vegan? You swore on me that you needed meat for your blood." This is a whole other conversation that I'm going to have about my blood condition. I have a bleeding disorder. My blood doesn't clot. It's like hemophilia, but it's called something else, von Willebrand's disease. So, and it was a genetic disorder from my father. It is, sorry, a genetic disorder from a passed down from my father. Anyways, I swore by meat. I was like, I need meat for my blood. I was swearing by this for years. And my girlfriend was like, what? And yeah, it was a radical change. I'm a bit of an extremist. So I naturally do things pretty extreme. Like I quit smoking cigarettes, I quit drinking after drinking for like 20 years pretty heavily. Okay, so when you think about eating an animal or what's on your plate, you want to think of it as energy. You're putting energy into your body. You need carbs for working out. Like I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not going to get into all the details of the all these macro, micro nutrients and stuff. I'm this is not the field I'm in. I am in the food industry. I do have a food company, vegan food company, but I want to talk about the energies that is transferred. What I believe is a transfer of energy. So when you eat a piece of meat and that like animal had a soul and it wasn't treated kindly, and then you eat that product, I really believe in the transfer of energy. So when we think of transfer of energy, energy is not created or destroyed, it is transferred. So you think about what you have just transferred into your body. I'm for understanding where your meat's coming from. It's the treatment of the animals that we really need to pay attention to. We're really bad to humans too, like, but animals are part of our vulnerable public, like the elderly and children. They can be mistreated and they don't have voices. So we need to be the voice for the voiceless. So when you think about what you support, think about your plate and where your food came from. Where I think it's just important to start thinking about where your food is coming from a lot. I remember asking my niece about meat once, and this was a few years ago, and like she didn't really understand what was happening, like behind closed doors, about how meat, how the animals can be treated. And my brother said, don't talk about that. Like, as in, we should keep that hush hush and we shouldn't be speaking about it. It was a very hard conversation for me to have because of how far I've come with understanding the meat industry, the dairy industry, and how much conditioning and money has been put into us believing that we need meat and dairy to live healthy lives. So it's just something to think about. Think about your plate. I thank you for being here and thank you for listening and thinking about this and thinking about the energies. I'm very spiritual, so I really believe in frequencies, and I believe that the frequencies we put out and how we treat others, how we treat animals, it's like a karmic cycle. It's going to come back to you. So living a more kind, pure life, I think, is really important. And just start thinking about what's on your plate. It's the food is really, really important to you. And think about what you're putting into your body. We really need to start thinking that as a society on a frequency level about how we are to each other and how we are to our animals' nature. Thank you. And I hope this video, you got something out of it. Thank you for following. If you want to like this video, subscribe. I have more talks about why I'm vegan, about my business, about business talks. Keep on following for more. Thank you.